From the time he moved into the World Trade Center, Rick was aware that it posed unusual security risk, partly because of its symbolism, its sheer size, its recognizability.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today, we're exploring the most famous instances in history where a person became famous due to experiencing a tragedy that turned them into a legend of humanity.
You're not just my bro anymore.
Tankman.
Standing in front of a column of tanks. No one around him. He was all on his own with his shopping bag in his hand. He climbed on top of the tank, banged on the lid, said, "Get out of my city. You're not wanted here."
In 1989, a day after the Chinese government forced protesters to leave Tiananmen Square in Beijing after being stationed there for 6 weeks, which led to hundreds of deaths and thousands of injuries over that time, the army sent in tanks. However, holding shopping bags was the unidentified person known as Tankman, who'd seen enough and stood in the tank's path. The iconic photo of him would become a symbol of rebellion when it was published. Tankman then climbed on the first tank to talk to the crew. Shortly after, people in blue appeared and dragged the hero away. The fate of the demonstrator is unknown. Some accounts believe he was jailed, while others claim he was executed.
Now that raises the intriguing possibility that he's still alive.
I think that he is. The fact that we have not heard from him since that amazing incident tells me he's still alive, he's still there, he has not been caught, and he's certainly not telling anybody that he's the man.
Henry Gunther.
The destruction ended at 11 o'clock in the morning on November the 11th, 1918. Just too late for one of the names on this wall. Henry Gunther grew up in a German-American family in Baltimore's Highlandtown neighborhood.
After 4 years and millions dead, the armistice was signed to end World War I. The document, which dealt with the Allied powers' victory over the Central Powers and the progression towards peace, was set to come into effect at 11 a.m. on November 11, 1918, after being signed at 5. At 10:59, in the French commune of Chaumont-devant-Domvilliers, a U.S. Army squad, which had Gunther within its ranks, discovered a group of German soldiers.
As the clock ticked forward at 10:58 a.m., Private Gunther had stood up, was charging towards the German lines when he was shot by a German machine gun.
Not knowing about the end of the war, he charged at the platoon. The Germans, who were unsuccessful in informing Gunther about the armistice, were forced to fatally shoot him, making him the last American and possibly the final soldier fatality of the war.
When I look at that, I feel like he received the honor that he deserved for what he did.
Maximilian McCann.
I can't recall in my career going to a story like that where it had happened in those circumstances and in that environment. It was a mystery.
In 2007, the McCann family from the UK was vacationing in Portugal. One night, Jerry and Kate left their 3 children in the apartment while they dined with friends at a nearby restaurant, checking on the kids often. Yet, when the parents returned for the night, Madeline was missing. Described as one of the most heavily publicized missing person cases in modern times to this day, Madeline's whereabouts and what happened to her remain a mystery.
There was quite a laissez-faire attitude. She's wandered off somewhere, she's probably got lost, we'll find her, she'll come back. And that was one of the criticisms, that the police activity didn't really get going until the next day.
Over the years, there have been reported sightings of her across several nations, yet none of which have been confirmed to be accurate. There have been multiple suspects in determining who was responsible. However, at the time of writing, no one has been formally charged.
And so it was like this spin cycle of lunacy. And a lot of this stuff would just enter the narrative and would stay there. To this day, I get people saying things that are completely wrong.
Elizabeth Short.
Well, listen up. No reporters view the body. You photo men, finish taking your pictures now. Coroner's men, put a sheet on the body as soon as they're done. We set up a perimeter 6 feet back. Any reporter crosses it, arrests him.
In 1947, the remains of Short were found in a vacant lot in Los Angeles, California. Working as a server at the time, reports soon emerged with claims Short had wanted to be an actor, leading to additional interest in the case. As a possible nod to this, the press immediately began nicknaming her Black Dahlia. seemingly in reference to the noir film The Blue Dahlia.
With Elizabeth's dark hair and propensity for dark clothing, reporters nickname her the Black Dahlia in local newspapers. And she was seen for the final time with a young salesman she'd been dating named Robert Manley.
While the police developed a list of over 150 suspects, no one was formally charged in relation to Short's murder, leaving it still unsolved to this day. Yet, that hasn't stopped people from theorizing who was responsible, making Short better known in pop culture for her sad demise rather than the life she led.
How was Elizabeth Short portrayed in these years since she was killed?
Portrayed as a prostitute. It isn't true. Portrayed as a movie mad girl who got parts in a lot of movies of the time, including Casablanca. It certainly isn't true.
Joan of Arc.
Do you know if you are in God's grace?
If I am not, may God bring me to it. If I am, may God keep me in it.
Born to a peasant family in France around 1412, life for Joan changed as a teenager when she claimed to have experienced visions featuring Christian figures. With her country fighting the 100 Years' War against England, Joan believed she was sent to save France. In 1429, Charles VII handed Joan armor and a horse and sent her to Orleans, which was under siege.
Who gave the order for me to be brought to this side of the river?
Hey, my friend! Good to see your ugly damn face again.
Lay here, I'm warning you. Don't swear.
Sorry, Jack.
The French are inspired by Joan, resulting in their victory and turning the tide in the war. However, in 1430, Joan was captured during the siege of Compiègne. During an infamous trial in 1431, Joan was found guilty of heresy and burned at the stake. Rather than causing her name to be lost to history, this turned Joan's story into legend. Emmett Till.
I had covered the courts in many areas of this country, but the Till case was unbelievable. I mean, I just didn't get the sense of being in a courtroom.
In 1955, Till, who lived in Chicago, Illinois, went to visit family in Money, Mississippi. One night, the black teenager was abducted from his great-uncle's house by Roy Bryant and his half-brother, J.W. Milam, who were both white. They accused Till of making a pass at Roy's wife, Carolyn, who owned a local store. A few days later, Till's body was found in the river.
It's not clear exactly where Emmett Till's body was thrown or exactly where it was found. But 3 days after his kidnapping, Emmett Till's body was found.
Bryant and Milam were found not guilty of the murder by an all-white jury. Shortly afterwards, they admitted to killing Till publicly but faced no repercussions. His murder drew attention to racism within the U.S. and black people losing their lives at the hands of white people, turning Till's story into a catalyst for the civil rights movement.
A juror later revealed that the jury had stalled to make it look good. They wouldn't have taken so long to return to the courtroom, he said, if they hadn't stopped to drink pop.
Henrietta Lacks.
The Lacks family began to learn more about what had been done with their mother's cells. They decided to approach lawyers to see if they could claim some of the money.
I went to the lawyers because I wanted to find out what is happening with her cell. From my research, I found out that they selling her cells all over the world.
In 1951, Lacks arrived at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland, after experiencing pain in her abdomen. Unfortunately, the cause was found to be cancer. During the treatments, the mass was biopsied by her doctor, Howard W. Jones, who sent the samples to George Otto Gay. However, Lacks neither knew nor agreed to this. Gay found the cancerous cells were unusual in that they continued to double in size, rather than dying out like typical ones, giving them the perception of being immortal.
Her cells were taken for research purposes without her consent. Doctors discovered that her cells doubled every 24 hours instead of dying off. Those cells were the first to be cloned and have been used in numerous medical discoveries.
Dubbed the HeLa cell line, the material became a vital part of medical research, including being used in the polio vaccine. Sadly, Lacks passed away in 1951. It wasn't until after Gay's death in 1970 that the deception became known.
My sister was a patient here till she got killed in 1955. So I'd appreciate it if you would point us in the direction of her files. Cause that door over there say medical records, but they ain't nowhere to be found.
Maximilian Kolbe.
Maximilian Kolbe, a Franciscan friar, gave his life in place of another prisoner at Auschwitz concentration camp in Poland in 1941.
After Poland was invaded by Germany during World War II, Catholic priest Kolbe helped shelter thousands of persecuted people. This led to his arrest by the Gestapo in 1941, eventually arriving at the Auschwitz concentration camp. After being subjected to abuse from guards, everything changed when someone escaped Auschwitz. Karl Fritsch, one of the leaders of the camp, sought revenge and told his guards to select 10 prisoners to execute. One of those chosen was Franciszek Gajowniczek, who begged for his life, for his family. Seeing this, Kolbe volunteered to take his place. After surviving without food and water for 2 weeks, Kolbe was executed. During his incredible sacrifice, he was canonized in 1982. Gajowniczek spent the rest of his life spreading Kolbe's legacy. Rick Rescorla.
We in America have been very fortunate. We've been blessed with a wonderful country and everything and wonderful resources. But don't let us think that we can be the world's top cop.
Born in England before moving to the U.S. and rising to the rank of colonel in the military, Rescorla eventually became director of security at Morgan Stanley at their offices in New York City's World Trade Center. Rescorla had long suspected an extremist attack was imminent at the places he worked, so he instigated strict drills with employees just in case.
If Rescorla had one flaw as a combat leader, in my estimation, it was that he got too close to his men. That great curiosity he had got him to know every man.
On September 11, 2001, Rescorla was proved right. He ignored calls from higher-ups for employees to stay at their desks and directed 2,700 of them outside while singing childhood folk songs to keep morale up. After getting them to safety, Rescorla went back inside to make sure it was clear. Sadly, the South Tower collapsed with him inside, taking his life.
Rick averted any panic, guiding everyone away from the disabled elevators to stairwells A, B, and C. There, he supervised an orderly evacuation out of the building.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Anne Frank.
For me, it was really important to investigate what makes us give up on each other.
Born in Frankfurt, Germany in 1929, life was forever altered for Anne and her family when Adolf Hitler rose to power. With the rise of his deplorable methods, the Franks, who were Jewish, relocated to Amsterdam, Netherlands. In 1942, following Germany's invasion and continuing persecution, the Franks hid in a secret annex within an office building, later joined by the Van Pels family and Fritz Pfeiffer.
Comforting to think that Mr. Crawler and his secretary are down there below us in the office. Our protectors, we call them. I asked Father what would happen to them if anyone found out that they were hiding us. Father said they would suffer the same fate that we would.
During this time, Anne wrote in her diary, which would become a vital historical account of the life of a teenage girl during this horrific time. In 1944, those hiding and those who helped were arrested and sent to concentration camps. A few weeks before their camp was liberated, Anne and her sister Margot died in 1945.
So, dear diary, that means I must leave you behind. Goodbye for a while.
Did we miss anyone from the video who became famous due to a tragedy? Let us know below.